Well, welcome back. New questions this morning surrounding the disappearance of Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai, who went missing after she posted on her Twitter-like Weibo platform in China that former Chinese Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli, we have a picture of him, let's show that picture, Zhang Gaoli sexually assaulted her. The post disappeared after roughly 20 minutes, and searches for her name on popular Chinese social media platforms have been blocked ever since. Zhang has not addressed the allegation publicly, and she cannot be reached. Now the world wants answers from the CCP. The Women's Tennis Association's chief executive, Steve Simon, has threatened to pull the tennis tour out of China, causing Chinese state-backed media to post footage that appears to show her with friends at a restaurant in Beijing. Of course, the Chinese state media is a talking box of the CCP. The 35-year-old has not been seen in public since November 2nd, when she made that accusation. But here is a quote from Steve Simon. He's calling this new video insufficient. In a statement yesterday, he says it remains unclear if she's free and able to make decisions and take actions on her own without coercion or external interference. Joining me right now is Senator Marsha Blackburn, who sits on the Senate Judiciary and Armed Services Committees. She, along with her colleague, Senator Tom Cotton, sent a letter to the U.S. Olympic and Paralympics Committee encouraging them not to send American athletes to Beijing in 2022 because it is not safe. Senator, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much. Another disappearance in China from the CCP. We know Jack Ma made a mistake of criticizing the CCP and its regulatory framework for financial services. He was disappeared for several months. What's going on here?
I think this is standard operating procedure for the Chinese Communist Party. And Maria, what we have to realize is that the Chinese Communist Party they are much more aggressive than what the Russians and the communists were when we go back through the Cold War era. But this is something that is continuing, as Secretary of State Pompeo had said before he left office, that they were committing this genocide against the Uyghurs. The Chinese Communist Party has no value for life. If you're not going to toe the line, then they're going to disappear you. And this is why we think it is unsafe for our athletes to go to the Olympics in Beijing. This is something that seems to be happening so more regularly. So why would the U.S. Olympic Committee send our athletes into this type environment?
Yeah, I mean, she says that the former vice premier of the CCP sexually assaulted her. Do we have that picture of him, Christopher? Of the vice chairman, the former vice premier? There he is. This is the gentleman that she says sexually assaulted her. When she said that, it was completely removed from her Weibo account, and then she was not seen since November 2nd. I also want to get your take, Senator, on this report from Reuters that says an American who had been blocked from leaving China for years was actually released just hours before Joe Biden spoke to Xi Jinping. Daniel Hu's return also coincided with the United States deportation of 7 Chinese nationals convicted of crimes. Did they do a hostage swap right before they got on the phone?
It sounds that way. Of course, we are just finding this out as it is being reported. But, Maria, here is the thing that we know. Joe Biden is weak on China. He was responding to Chairman Xi because he's the one that asked for the video conference. Biden did not ask for this. And, of course, we have several American citizens that are being held in China against their will. And we released 7. So I think we're all going to want to hear about this. But what we do know is the Chinese do not fear Joe Biden. They do not fear this administration. They are more aggressive now than they have ever been. U.S. tech firms and U.S. companies are beginning to exit China. We've recently had Yahoo and Fortnite who have come out. We've got other companies that are looking for other places for critical supply chain manufacturing because of the intellectual property abuse from China because of some of their trade policies. And what we know is whether it is COVID or great power competition or Belt and Road, whether it is some of these trade policies, whether it's a debt diplomacy, the Communist Chinese Party is aggressive. They are not going to be truthful in their negotiations. They are not a competitor. They are an adversary. And this administration needs to realize this. They need to admit it. And Joe Biden needs to stop kowtowing to the Communist Chinese.
Well, he tiptoes around Xi Jinping. We know that. And he's taken a lot of these communist ideas to America with these vaccine mandates and bank surveillance that it feels like it's right out of communist China. Is it because of a conflict of interest that Hunter Biden was paid by the CCP? I don't know if he's still being paid. I mean, is that what it is? What is behind this incompetence around the CCP, who's been very clear that they want to overtake the United States as the #1 superpower?
Well, you're right about that. And anybody who follows what the Communist Chinese are doing, they are intent on global domination by the time we get to the midpoint of the century. This is their goal. And if the U.S. is not going to stand up to the Communist Chinese, nobody else is going to stand up to them. People are depending on the United States to lead this way. And Maria, this is why whether it is economic policy or whether it is military policy, if we are not standing up to them, then we are giving them political power. And the weakness of this administration, the hesitancy of them to hold them to account, like I said, whether it is trade or COVID or economic policy, what we need to do is say, no, we're not going to talk to you until you do certain things. And COVID and the origins of COVID is a big part of that. Stopping the genocide on the Uyghurs, stopping the harassment of Taiwan, sending that message, we're going to stand for Taiwan. These are big ones.
Senator, let's move on to the domestic agenda. We just heard from Kevin McCarthy, who told us once the Build Back Better plan gets to the Senate, if it's blocked, they're going to change it, and then it's going to go back to the House. How confident are you that Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema will hold the line? And are there other Democrats that will vote no on that Build Back Better plan that's headed to the Senate, Senator?
Every day that passes, there are more Democrats that have more questions. And the CBO score, where they came out and said, well, it's $367 billion in new debt, deficit spending over 5 years. And so Joe Biden's math is totally wrong on this bill. You're looking at nearly $1 trillion worth of debt if they were to pass this. But what they are intent on doing is taking one vote. And with that one vote, they would push forward their woke socialist agenda that would give the federal government control of your kids and education, of health care. It would force the Green New Deal and give them control of your bank account and your small business. This is where they're trying to go.
Senator, is there anything you want to say about Kamala Harris? She was given the role of acting president when Joe Biden got his colonoscopy last week.
Yeah, and I think when you look at what she has done, she has failed at every task that she's been given. That's why there are many in the White House who are so frustrated with her. It's going to be interesting to see who they push forward to take her place.
Senator, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much, Senator Marsha Blackburn.
Good to see you.
We will be right back.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.